Alright guys, so today we're going to be going over solving system of equations by graphing. Now, these are the few things I'd like you to write down or keep in mind that help me be able to graph an equation or a system. The first thing is we want to remember our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We want to remember that our b is the y-intercept. That's always where you start. Keep that in mind. And your slope is going to tell you your directions, your rise over run. How do you get from your start to your very next point and on? Now, I like to keep these steps in mind. First, we always start with the y-intercept. Then we're going to go with our slope, a rise over run to get to the next point. Then we just connect our dots. Now, when we're solving a system, it means we have two equations. Now, we want to get our goal that we want to keep in mind is we want to solve for x and y. So we want to know, where do these two lines intersect? Where they intersect, that's our solution. That's where the two graphs meet, and that's the point that meets both of these expectations. So I'll show you what that looks like now. I'm going to give this first equation, we're going to call it line 1. I'm going to put it in red, and our second equation is going to be line 2, and it'll be in blue. So I'm going to start with the first one. Now, our first one, we always start with our y-intercept. So my y-intercept in this case is -1, so I'm going to go down to -1. And from here, I'm going to use my slope, my rise over run. I'm going up 1 to the right 2. So from my start, I'm going up 1 to the right 1, 2. Up 1 to the right 1, 2. Up 1 to the right 1, 2. Now I could also go the other way, because this is a positive and this is a positive. If I wanted to go the opposite way, it'd be negative and negative. So I'd be going down 1 to the left 1, 2. It's the same thing. Down 1 to the left 2. Down 1 to the left 2. And now to the left 2. And now I have my graph. We're going to connect our dots. And there's your first line. Now let's go to the second one. Same thing. This is our y-intercept. We're going to start at +2. And from there, we're going to follow our slope. Now, there's a number missing. Remember, x is not part of your slope. But in front of every letter, we know there's a number 1. So our slope in this case is -1. Now we need up, down, left, right. So in this case, I only have my rise. I need my run. Any whole number can be put over 1. So now my directions are down 1, because it's negative, to the right 1. Because it's negative, it belongs to the 1. Now you can give it to the bottom, but only one of the two numbers can get a negative. So don't go giving it to both. It's only one or the other. So in this case, I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. And if we noticed, we have found our point of intersection. So I'm going to connect my dots. And my point of intersection is right here. This is my solution. So I'm going to write down this point. This point is 2, 0. And that is my solution. Now, how do I know this is the solution? Because this is the only xy that will satisfy both equations. What does that mean? It means if I were to plug in this x and y, it would give me a true statement for both. So for example, let's look at our first. Y equals 1 over 2x minus 1. All right, so I'm going to substitute x and y. I'm going to substitute x with 2, and I'm going to substitute y with 0. Okay, so that means whatever this is has to equal 0. Okay, well, 1 over 2 times 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 equals 0. So it works for that first equation. Now let's look at our second equation. I have y equals -x plus 2. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back and I'm going to substitute x and I'm going to substitute y. X is 2, y is 0. -2 plus 2 is 0, and 0 equals 0. And that's how we know that's our solution. So if you got a multiple choice question and you got a list of points, you could always go back. If you forget how to graph, you can always go back and just plug in the points to see which one gives you a true statement for both. It has to give you a true statement for both equations. All right, and that's it for today.